dialogue like from movies spliced in there, and it's kind of stupid. I used to play like the Star Trek. That's what's going on.
I like that you're critiquing their style. Like,
It wasn't me.
With the stage on it?
I could have done it better.
Yeah, I would have been different.
Are we talking about Vegas? Oh, the debate. The primary.
It was eye-opening.
Stand any of it. I just can't stand any of it.
So what? Okay, let's open this public hearing. Topic is annexation of approximately 0.93 acre site north end of Windy Ridge Road, and I'm going to turn it over to our associate planner, Jeremy Pinchot.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
It's now 6:46. The public hearing is now open. This is a quasi-judicial land use hearing. The subject of this hearing is a request for an annexation. The subject property is identified as the county assessor's map as lot 2300 on map 5 North 1 West 32 DC. The applicant is Tammy Sinera. The owner is the same. Because quasi-judicial proceedings require the observance of certain procedural formalities, we will take a few moments to cover some preliminary matters and required statements. Does any member of the council wish to declare an ex parte contact, conflict of interest, or bias in this matter? Hearing none. Does anyone from the audience object to the ability of a counselor to make a fair decision tonight? None. Generally, the order of proceedings will be as follows. Required statements, staff report, applicant's presentation, those in favor, neutral, opposed, and rebuttal. The following statements are required to be made at the commencement of the hearing pursuant to City Code and ORS 1977635. The following is a list of applicable substantive criteria for this decision. St. Helens Municipal Code 1728-030, the approval standards for annexation. 1708-040-1A, the approval standards for a zone comprehensive plan map change. St. Helens Municipal Code 1708-060 and 17-112-0302. All testimony, arguments, and evidence must be directed towards the applicable substantive criteria as described, or other criteria in the plan, such as the comp plan, the land use regulation, such as that found in the development code, which the person believes applies to the decision. Failure to raise an issue, including constitutional or other issues relating to the proposed conditions of approval in this hearing, in person or in writing, or failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the approving authority an opportunity to respond to the issue, precludes appeal to LUBA, the Land Use Board of Appeals, on that issue, and precludes an action for damages in circuit court. So now we can get into the staff report. Thank you, Kathy. All right, so this is an annexation up on Windy Ridge Drive. It's the last parcel on Windy Ridge Drive, and in fact, it is a flag lot. So you can see it, it's that parcel just to the north of the last city on Windy Ridge. It's currently surrounded by R10 zoning along Windy Ridge Drive, and then there's some R7 to the north as well. This lot was partitioned in 1999 and again in 2002. So before, it used to be combined with the property just to the south, and then they divided it in half. And on that partition plat, there is a couple of easements for access that benefit the parcels to the south. And then there's also a 50-foot riparian and floodplain easement along the northeastern property line where Milton Creek runs through the back of their property. It's just under an acre in size, and the applicant required or desires to annex because they want to hook into our water system. I believe they are in process of getting their building permit through the county to develop the property with a home. which is something that we see, for timing purposes. They just wanna move forward with the development, so they get their permit through the county while the annexation's in process. But in order to hook into our water system, they need to annex. The closest sewer line is over 200 feet away and crosses two private properties. So they are likely gonna work with the county to build a septic system on the property. For the purposes of the annexation, we still look at capacity for utilities. Obviously, we have water capacity to connect, we have sewer capacity if they were to ever desire to connect to our sewer. It's pretty unlikely if they're building a brand new septic system, but you never know. Transportation facilities are not affected. You know, they can build at the same density they could have built in the county or in the city. That's something we look at when we annex property. It's vacant currently, if I didn't already say that. Their desire is to build a single-family dwelling. So the comp plan designates this property as rural, suburban, unincorporated residential. So the city's zoning options upon annexation are either R7 or R10. Staff's recommendation and the Planning Commission's recommendation is to zone it R10 to be consistent with all of the properties along Windy Ridge. It does abut some R7, but it wouldn't really make sense given the surrounding properties to the south. It's a pretty simple one, pretty common. Does anyone have questions? That's kind of the rundown. There was no testimony at the Planning Commission hearing other than the applicant was here to talk about their building plans. They're building their dream home. They're excited to live in the city. Okay. Does anyone wish to speak in support of this application? Anyone in neutral? Opposition? Hearing none?
The applicant like to speak at all? No?
I don't think they're here.
Hearing is closed.